Vice President Guliyev, please.
Thank you very much, dear Andres, dear Kyriakos, dear President, dear distinguished members of the Parliament. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to our Assembly for organizing this web dialogue on the humanitarian protection and the human rights in conflict-affected areas. Today's event is the first such meeting dedicated to this specific issue after the ending of Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict. As you know, this conflict was a true humanitarian shock and tragedy for the entire region, when thousands of people lost their lives and nearly 1 million of Azerbaijanis were expelled from their places of origin, being deprived of a natural right for secure and dignified life. In my view, this meeting or web dialogue is an excellent opportunity to sum up the events of the last several months in order to make clear for everyone the realities on the ground. For full understanding of the events which happened during the course of 44-day war, it is necessary to review the events preceding the deciding stage of Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict. The negotiations between the two states came to a deadlock due to the unacceptable demands and military provocations started on September 27, 2020 by the political military leadership of Armenia. Azerbaijan had to respond to this provocation of Armenia with retaliatory and peace enforcement measures. The counter-offensive measures resulted in full liberation of Azerbaijani territories which were occupied by Armenia. Azerbaijan had, in fact, single-handedly implemented the 4 resolutions of UN Security Council demanding full, completely withdrawal of Armenian military forces from the occupied areas. On November 10, 2020, the leaders of Azerbaijan, Armenia, and the Russian Federation signed a trilateral statement putting an end to the almost 3 decades long armed conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan. But unfortunately, during the course of the 44-day war, the armed forces of Armenia deliberately attacked the densely populated residential areas, thus committing serious war crimes, crimes against humanity, and state terror. Armenia particularly used the internationally prohibited cluster munitions, Scud missiles, and white phosphorus against the civilians in Ganja, Barda, and other major cities of Azerbaijan far away from the conflict zone. As a result of such indiscriminate attacks of Armenia, 101 Azerbaijani civilians were killed, 423 civilians were wounded. Dear colleagues, now let me brief you on the humanitarian measures undertaken by my country in accordance with the 10 November statement. First, the safe return of 50,000 Armenian refugees to Azerbaijan was ensured. Azerbaijan has created the necessary conditions for receiving of humanitarian aid by them. All the necessary communication means, including the railways and airports, were provided for this purpose. Within the frameworks of humanitarian measures, also enshrined in the 10 November statement, as of today, Azerbaijan has returned to Armenia 71 war prisoners and the bodies of almost 1,300 foreign Armenian servicemen. Now, I deem it necessary to inform you on the main tasks that Azerbaijan will undertake regarding further solution of humanitarian issues. First, the main challenges is that the mining of liberated territories. Please be informed that nearly 20 persons were killed and 70 heavily wounded as a result of mine explosions after the war ended. Unfortunately, Armenia still refuses to submit the map of landmines despite the demands of international humanitarian law, causing the deaths of innocent people. The second task is the rebuilding and restoration of these territories. Azerbaijan will have to rebuild a large area of more than 10,000 square kilometers completely ruined by Armenia. Azerbaijan has already started this process, and companies of several friendly countries have already decided to make the investments in the amount of more than 500 million USD. Azerbaijan also allocated nearly $2 billion USD for these purposes, aiming to realize the smart village, smart city, and the green energy concepts in these areas. For your information, during the occupation, more than 65 mosques were destroyed or used as pigsties by Armenia. Despite these devastating consequences, Azerbaijan is resolute to restore the destroyed religious and cultural objects, as well as preserve the historical and cultural objects and monuments, including the Christian churches. The third task is the return of former IDPs to conflict-affected areas. In accordance with the paragraph 7 of the 10 November statement, after realization of the previous two tasks under the control of the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. The first task is the reintegration of Azerbaijan citizens of Armenian origin into Azerbaijan's political, social, economic space, providing them with the equal rights as other citizens under our constitution. The fifth task is the restoration of communications in accordance with 11 January 2021 trilateral statement and conclusion of comprehensive peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan, based on mutual respect for territorial integrity, sovereignty, and inviolability of internationally recognized borders of both states. In light of the mentioned facts, I found it necessary to remind that the term Nagorno-Karabakh conflict and it is used in unacceptable. There is also no administrative territory called Nagorno-Karabakh in the Republic of Azerbaijan. We expect the OSCE Minsk Group and other international stakeholders to live in the past the obsolete terms and approaches and closely engage and support the implementation of the mentioned tasks. Any international stakeholder wishing to contribute to the present situation must direct all its activities to sustainable peace, stability, and cooperation in the South Caucasus. Armenia should also act responsibly, fulfill its obligations under the November trilateral statement, and put aside its revanchist attempts. Any revision or interference of the achievements of the November statement is not only harmful, but also dangerous. Dear colleagues, in conclusion, I think that the OSCE PA has a role to play in the reconciliation process between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Taking this opportunity, I would like to invite the OSCE PA's interested delegations to visit the liberated territories of the Republic of Azerbaijan and get acquainted with the real situation on the ground. Thank you, Mr. Chair.